Hey there, everybody. It's Jason Linett from the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast, and a bit of a backstory to this video here, which is that I moved my office back in April or May 2019. And in the course of moving from the old location to this new one of the big goals was to have dedicated production space. Doing the podcast, doing videos, doing webinars. The biggest headache with that in terms of content creation is setting up and then taking back down. So the number one goal in terms of moving the space was one, not only having, a space comfortable for my students and my clients, of course, but also having this dedicated workspace. And just simply put, I've been getting a lot of requests to find out exactly what I'm currently using, and that's what this video is. And as the requests have been coming up from all over, we just decided to stick this thing on YouTube. It's not behind the paywall of Hypnotic Business Systems, though for more like this, check out hypnoticbusinesssystems.com. Let me show you exactly inside of everything that's here, and you'll see no need for an opt-in. There in the description beneath this is the entire shopping list, which, yes, for what it's worth, those are many of them affiliate links on Amazon, which even if you buy a $300 item, I think I only make 12 cents. Yay. It's more about the tracking to see what all you are using. So let me walk you through the user experience first, and then from there we'll get into the specifics. And again, don't worry about model numbers from this video because it's all down below in the description anywhere that I'm going to post this online, whether by email or on YouTube or linking over to Facebook. So here we go. If you're looking at the computer here, do not get bogged down in the fact that I'm using an iMac computer, because it's 2019 and whatever computer you want to use, they all work. You just got to use them. So you could be doing this with a MacBook with the embedded webcam. You could be doing this with a Windows desktop computer with a Logitech extension webcam. Whatever you're comfortable using, you can make that work. This video is more about the external stuff around the display of how I'm making this all work. So really, whatever computer you already have is very likely enough. And even if not, if it doesn't have a decent webcam, that's the first step of this. Hopping on Amazon.com, hitting up Staples or somewhere like that. Let me make it simple. Pick up any Logitech webcam that's between like $40 and I'd say $120. Anywhere in that range, their devices are good. Yes, there's other options that are out there. So here's the user experience. Whatever software I'm using, if I'm doing a Zoom webinar, if I'm going to pull up iMovie and just shoot a quick one-off video, if I'm going to use some sort of screen share software like ScreenFlow, which is now my preference. It used to be Camtasia, but I've now migrated over to ScreenFlow. Whatever you're going to use, here's the productivity mode. First of all, let's start with this desk. This is the desk made by the Uplift company. And you can see, I think, yeah, it's in the screen here. I can go up. How cool is that? And I can go down. And I have to tell you the silly reason why I wanted this. Being short, I had all sorts of laptop stands that I'd play the game if I'm doing a video about how many books do I have to stack, and getting the angles just right, and the intention, of course, that sitting is the new smoking, having the option to kind of pivot back and forth, and just quite openly, there's better energy to my presentation if I'm standing rather than sitting in a slightly comfortable chair. Slightly comfortable. I didn't buy the best chair, so I'd get the hell out of it. So the desk is completely optional, but just simply go to uplift.com. I did end up spending about $1,200 total for this desk, and I love it. But again, you don't need it. So here's the rest of it. Here's the stuff that a few of these pieces, even just one or two of them, is going to enhance your videos. One other quick thing too, you can't see it, but I'm standing on a carpet because my new office has hardwood floors, which meant there was a bit of a sound bounce. So having the little carpet rug beneath me, as well as this sound absorption, which I'll link to that. This was also sold by Uplift, and of course, it's the right shade of color. Having that help to negate the sound bounce. So here's the basic shape of it. And I have to make this my height so I can absolutely reach it. Yay. If you notice, back behind the table, clamped to the table, is this double sort of articulated arm, which makes it so in most cases, this big light is all the way up here. However, when I want to get started, all I have to do is loosen this bolt, pivot that down. If I'm doing a screen share, put that content right here in the middle of the screen, And I found this ring light enough. The cool thing about a ring light is it hits your face from all angles. Every pimple you've ever popped, every blemish you've ever had kind of goes away when you have that ring light. It's extremely forgiving. I did need a little bit of extra sound boost, lighting boost, which is this little job over here, which I'll link to that too. Yet I got to show off the smart controls. Alexa, turn on the production lights. Watch this. There we go. And by voice command, those are linked into smart switches, which again, that's now programmed through the Alexa app, completely unnecessary. The reason I like it though, is that both this ring light and both this light over here are the types of light that turn on by a dimmer switch. So, which means when you turn it off, you don't have the setting of where it was before. So by going smart control, Alexa, turn off the production lights. There it goes. By having that on a voice command, or even just a plug in the wall, keep it simple. It's always set to the optimum level that I've set up for that. Now, you're gonna notice in this video display, there are actually 2 of these ring lights for a funny reason. When I shoot videos elsewhere around my office, you know, I don't want to detach this. This was the goal. I want to have a permanent production studio always set up. So if I was constantly detaching it from that and putting it back, that would have negated the need. And these ring lights, yes, they're about maybe $100 or so. And it was worth it to me to buy number 2, which is this one over here, which comes with the tripod, which is the exact one that I've linked to. So here's the benefit though. If you notice this one, I had to buy this secondary screen for. This newer model, and even better, the name of the brand is Newer. How about that? This newer model is so much better. You can adjust the warmth of the light, the coolness of the light. It dims a whole lot better. The controls are right there on the front, which is a big lifesaver. So you can't buy this one because they don't make it anymore, which is okay because that one's even better. And that's the one I'm linking to. And even, hell, even if you just stuck a tripod with a webcam in the middle, or even your phone with that light, you know, here are the resources that I'm using. So this double articulated arm makes it so behind the computer, up and over, and again, it's just a pivot, and now it's out of the way. And there we go. So that satisfies it in terms of lighting. The other component here is, of course, sound, which again, having permanent production setup was something that I really wanted to have as a result of doing all of this. So this is the now standard Yeti microphone, the Yeti microphone, and there's all sorts of different colors. When you see the link, you know, it'll link you to the blackout model, which is the one that I've got here. The cool thing about the Yeti is there's a whole bunch of different colors of it now, which maybe you've got branding to your business. I should have a purple one. Or quite honestly, most often people don't see it in your stuff. This is what I've used to record every podcast session, or practically every podcast session. So if they're not seeing it, it doesn't matter what it looks like. And oftentimes there's 1 or 2 colors that are cheaper than the others. So buy those. So the setup here is the Yeti comes with a big metal stand, which is kind of cumbersome and wouldn't work for this setup of permanent video display. So instead I bought this scissor arm, as it's called, which also in the description of what I've put there is the little bolt that you have to get to make this convert for that. So the Yeti out of the box and the arm out of the box won't talk to each other, won't connect with each other physically in terms of the screws. But I think this is like $4, and that's all it needed to be. So the setup of this, the cable from the Yeti travels down the arm, back behind, and into the back of the computer. It's always plugged in, it's ready to go. If you haven't noticed, I have vertical hair, so I'm rather sensitive about having a set of headphones on that makes it so when I leave my office, I've got a line, which is where, and this gets wedged in here sometimes depending on how I move it around, which is where I've got these behind the head headphones, which pop those on, a little bit of Princess Leia action, and I'm able to communicate to the audience and be able to hear a little bit better. That being said, here's perhaps the $1 million piece of advice. It's of my opinion, and this was pointed out to me by my good friend Richard Cole, there's a block of rapport between you and the audience when you're wearing headphones. So there's just this disconnect. It seems as if you're not actually there and in the present. So as much as I can, if I'm doing video, and yes, you see the microphone hanging, it's part of the stylistic thing that I'm going for, I'm doing my best on a webinar at times to not have the headphones on where now I'm blocking that connection between me and you. So really, this is the setup. And again, it's always there and in motion. If I decide to shoot a video, if I decide to schedule a podcast session, it's all ready to go. And again, most often it's using software that's pretty affordable. And this entire setup, minus the desk was the splurge, you could probably buy all of this for like $300 or $400, which, just to put it out there, if you book one client using the systems that I teach, if you create one high value info product and sell that, you've made back your investment, and then this is your asset you get to use time and time again. So a bit of an extended video here giving you a tour of basically everything that I'm using for this now dedicated in-office production studio. This is a theme that many people on the podcast have mirrored over the years, that just by having it always set up was a massive time saver. And I gotta tell you, I've been churning out more content, more videos, more sound, more, everything since now it's done. And without giving you the full tour of the space, which is elsewhere online, the office that I see clients is that room over the other side of this wall. There's another practitioner office if I decide to hire someone else again, that's in that room over there, which means I've got a whole empty room as a buffer of sound for, making sure the two rooms don't quite overlap. So there you go. The in-office Work Smart production studio. At least that's the name that I'm now giving it. Thanks everybody for watching. Happy shopping. Any questions? Feel free. Probably the easiest thing is shoot me an email. I'm more reliable on email these days. jason@virginiahypnosis.com. Although again, for more like this, check out my entire hypnosis business training library, hypnoticbusinesssystems.com, where you can get the all-access pass to exactly how I've built multiple successful hypnosis businesses. It's a thriving online community with people who are there to support you. I'm Jason Linett. You keep working smart. We'll see you soon.